Yeah, Niklas Roy is my name. I'm from Berlin, as Aram, and there's also Brandon somewhere. No, he's not here anymore. He left for my presentation. And I work mainly with mechanics, with electronics, and with code. And I would like to show you some projects. So this is like a typical workspace for me. This is my desk in Berlin when I was working on some electronics projects. This is the space where I work and where I also live. It's an old fish shop in the far east of Berlin. And inside this shop front, I have my workshop, and it's also my living room. And as you can see, they're quite nosy neighbors sometimes, which is a little bit annoying. Not always. I mean, sometimes I like this kind of eye contact situation, and I think it's an interesting medium, also such a shop window. But sometimes it's just too much. And I was discussing once with one of my neighbors what I could do about that, and she said, you could just put up a curtain like everyone else in the street. So I want to show you a video of my curtain, which I put in there. So I want to stick for a moment with this curtain thing. I don't know how loud this is actually here. It's like, I think it's not close enough, huh? I should have it rather like this here, maybe. So I kept this for a while, this curtain in my window, but it also became a little bit annoying after a while because it always makes this kind of sound. So when you're working there, you can imagine, like when I was really into the work, I didn't really care about people passing by on the street. But when you hear them every time because they make some sort of motor sounds and they start to play with the curtain, it was a bit annoying, and I took it down. And then, well, basically I sold this then to a museum in Barcelona. and I built a new version for some exhibitions in France. Somehow I didn't have such a super feeling with it because I thought that the curtain is just not the obvious thing to put in a window here. Well, what I wanted to do with this work is to take something very obvious, very normal, not obvious, but just something very normal that you have usually in the windows, and just to give it some life and then to see what happens, what kind of character it develops, which worked quite well with the curtain, but in Berlin, but here in Canada, or at least in Quebec, I've seen it quite often. I've been often here in Quebec also in previous years, and I always recognized all those Alloué signs. They were like, for me, something really special. We don't have this kind of culture to advertise an empty space like this in Germany. Rather put like online ads or put it in the newspaper, but showing it directly at the space that you can rent it is something special for me, and it's really massive here. Like, you just walk 20 meters and you will always see another sign. I've taken some of those pictures here in the city, so I thought that since the shop that I got, and I guess most of you might have seen it yesterday night. This is the shop at the Wellington Street here, and it's also an empty shop front. And I thought that this shop actually also needs something else than a curtain. It's not about privacy there. What this shop needs is some person to care about it, a tenant, a business which moves in there. Because no one really likes to have those kind of empty cities with with all those abandoned shop fronts. It's just not nice. So I wanted to help the shop a little bit, give it a stronger voice, and put this Alloué sign in there. I also want to talk a little bit about the technology behind it. So this here is a screenshot from the computer program, which I wrote for the first version, was programmed in the programming language processing. And it has this kind of image recognition, as you could see, which then controls the motor. And if you think about the computing power which I used there, it was an old laptop which I used. I was thinking a little bit further, and then if you think about computers like that here, it's an IBM 360 from the late 1960s, costed like millions of dollars, this computer, but still it's not as powerful as a smartphone of nowadays. But anyway, it was also some sort of it was a very powerful computer at that time. Of course, it could do something very meaningful, otherwise people wouldn't have spent so much money. And I was thinking a bit further, and I was wondering how much computing power you actually need for image recognition. And I made this project called Ping, where you said you know Pong, so you might recognize something in this picture here. Like, it is this 70s style video game pixel. And what I've built is just a very minimal electronic. It's an adapter that you put in a video signal line. So you can take a video signal, let's say from a camera or so, plug it in. Then you have this device. It puts a pixel on top of the video image, and then it goes out again, and you can put it in your monitor. So all what it does is make an interactive pixel on it, which reacts to the video image. Here we can also see the setup. So we have the adapter on the left side, and there is a camera and then a computer monitor. I will also show you a quick video of that. Yeah, and as I said, I'm very interested in the technology also with which I work. So in this case, I can also show you in more detail how this device works. So when you open it up, there is this kind of circuit board here on the right side. Let's have a closer look. The circuit board, what you can see there, it has those kind of two chips here, those little black thingies. The one on the right side is a microcontroller, which is basically a small computer all in one with memory and with a CPU. Just costs like $2 or so, such a thing. But it is, in fact, it is like really like a little bit like a 70s computer. It's not very powerful. Then what you also have there is a crystal. You always need for every computer some sort of a clock, otherwise it doesn't work. You need a, like in my computer I have some sort of 3 gigahertz in here, while that one is just a 16 megahertz crystal, so it's a relatively slow computer, which is built in there. Then there is another chip. It's a video signal sync separator, which synchronizes the electronics to the incoming video signal. And then there are basically just some resistors which change the voltage of the video signal. And changing the voltage of the video signal, since it's an analog signal, means that you're basically painting in it. So the whole hardware is really very, very easy to build. It's very cheap, costs like less than $10. Everyone who's experienced with soldering can actually build his own ping. You can also take many of them, daisy chain them, and you have like many balls in a video picture which interact with each other. And for those which are interested, I have on my website here, if you scroll down in projects, there is the ping. I have all the plans and the schematics and the code for the microcontroller if you want to make your own. And I know about some people which have built them, and they sent me emails about it. They were quite excited about it. So my website is niklasroy.com. I will do now shameless self-promotion. You can also follow me on Twitter there. And if you do follow me on Twitter, you get tweets like that here, really high-speed, real-time. This is like that tweet that Ping was included in the new permanent exhibition of the ZKM in Karlsruhe, which is a media art museum, the largest media art museum in Germany. And I sent this tweet out like 5 minutes after I signed the contract. But I will leave now the world of self-promotion and electronics and computers and enter the world of power tools and hardware.